Lives be real. I think we got to get started with our program here. And Robin, Mike, if you guys can help me out just a little bit. First of all, I want to thank David Rodwell for bringing everything yesterday. And all of his equipment and having fun. And being an amazing musician, and for wow, where's there he is, the Rolling Stone back there, Steve. Avery's performing for us yesterday. I thought it was absolutely wonderful.
And Cash playing, singing Ring of Fire.
Do what?
Cash singing Ring of Fire.
Oh yeah, Cash singing Ring of Fire. We're putting that in the, I hope you don't mind us putting it in the newsletter. Was that not the cutest little?
Oh my God. The cutest Elvis I've ever seen.
And to watch him take the little one and at his age make certain he escorted her up the steps was the most precious thing. You are raising an absolute perfect, wonderful gentleman, and congratulations to you. That is one of the nicest kids. By the way, every show I did that I had children there, I said, by the way, who do these children belong to? I would know, but I've asked who's the parents of these kids. But give these kids a hand for being so incredibly well behaved here today. It is so wonderful to see parents that care. Almost every time I would say that, they would buy us a McCookra. So they would see that I cared for them. And especially, how many of you have had good kids in your show? Just sit there and they were well behaved? If you will just simply thank the parents for being good parents. No different than that right there. That'll tune people in to what you're doing. Robin, your time.
Awesome, thank you. Even better, thank you.
Please pick this up.
He's not used to working without his heels being on. So. Is that the cutest Priscilla Presley you've ever seen? I think you should give Mike a round of applause. We're a little behind schedule. We got to stay on it today. This morning we're going to open, and I'm going to tell you, you guys need to really listen to these people that are up here. All our speakers are key speakers. They're the ones who are making it happen. They're the ones with the increases. Mike and Kristen Kelch, they've shown us how to make pickles, they've shown us how to make sauerkraut, they've shown us how to make bread. You know, they're going to show us how to make bread. You say, who makes pickles and who makes sauerkraut, who makes bread? These are all those little things that you can do to customize to your shows. If you go to Mother Earth show, you better darn well have a crock of sauerkraut and some pickles on your counter because you're going to talk your talk. Well, Mike and Kristen, again, had a 23% increase this year. I would listen to what they're saying, do what they're doing, take notes. They're going to show us this morning how to make bread on top of your slow cooker, your stove, and be able to show it during your presentation and how to share it with your audience as your day goes on. Mr. Kelch, I appreciate your time. All right. We're going into Mark? Okay. Is your bread time rising, baby? Okay. All right, we'll come back to that then. And so sorry. This is where we adjusted the show, right? Things happen. Miss Brittany, can you go a little bit further? Thank you.
Power. Sorry.
Power. Check your power button, right? The lights are on the indicator. Our next speaker, again, another percentage of increase year after year after year. He works harder than most people. He gets up, he does his demos. He's done this for a lot of years. Miss Brittany, do you have the next mic? There should be I'll have the clicker. You know, how many of you had the opportunity to work with Mark Tamares in the field or had some sort of contact with him at some point where he has either helped you or he's reached out to you or you've reached out to him? He's touched a lot of lives in this room, and we appreciate that. One of the things, and if you want to take a good lesson, you know, the company gives you the core of your booth. We give you your display. We make sure you have all the basics that you need. But you know, if you're going to a festival, decorate your booth up. Put some sunflowers in it. Add some flowers. Mark goes crazy. If you've ever seen his antique display at at the State Fair in Texas. All I can say is, thank God I don't have to load in and load out, because it's just unbelievable the amount of stuff that he brings in. And it may seem like a little extra work, but why would you not invest that little bit of extra work to make your display beautiful, to make it welcoming, to make it that wow factor so that you want to go in there. But if you've ever worked with Mark or talked to him, he will always tell you, work on your e-library, work on your sales library. He's going to ask you, what book are you reading right now to help you get better in sales? I guarantee you, am I right, Reggie? He's asked you, hasn't he? Dean, I'm sure that he's pounded you. What book are you reading? Alan, if you haven't had the chance yet, you're going to get it, because it's coming, buddy. So, but even as many years as he's been in this business, he too continues to learn. He took his own time this year on his downtime. He said, Robin, I want to go to the factory. I want to work next to these people. I want to see what they're experiencing. I want to be next to them, so when I go to the show, I can say, guess what? At the factory, this is what I got to do. And he spent 2 days up there, and I think you went through the entire process, didn't you? I'm sorry, yes, he was there 7 days, but you were on the line 2 full days, I believe. Working next to these people, I did every single process of the manufacturing, so he could see it, touch it, feel it, and talk about it, and share it, and experience it. You're welcome, any of you can do the same thing. We'll get you set up to do it. But my point being, never stop learning, never stop adding to your library. Keep reading those books, keep reading, being inspired, and get your library going. So again, another percentage of increase. He's going to talk to you today about the walk-up close. And again, one of the reasons we reached out to him to speak on this is because there is not a week that goes by that I get a call from a customer who says, I just wanted to buy your cookware. They wouldn't let me buy your cookware. I kid you not, am I right? Every week I get somebody, I just wanted to buy cookware. So guess what? It was your customers. I'm not going to point specific fingers, but they just want to buy cookware. So please listen, take note, and follow the walk-up. It will help you in between the shows. And Mr. Mark, I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Get your video recorders if you have them, because you're going to want to go back to this and reference it afterwards. Mr. Mark.
Okay. Let's do 10.
Did you wash your hair?
Yeah. Let's do 10. Let's have a look at right here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's get started. This is what I'm going to be talking about today is the hardest thing in the world to talk to everybody about, because I'm going to take you out of context of what you've been taught from day one. Day one, you have been taught to get that consumer to sit down in your show and do the demo. Day one. How many people have went through that training? And everything you've been taught is to get that person to sit down. We have had changes in our shows. We got to work with the changes. We're going to talk about those changes. And this, we're going to start off with this one right here. Can everybody see this okay? Can everybody read this at all right here?
No.
If you can't, I kind of maybe hopefully for somebody that can't see it, put your glasses on. Okay, here's the way it works. It says there are 4 special birthdays in our lives. Your 16th is one of them. I will let you figure out the other 3. Love you, Grandpa Mark. My grandson turned 16 years old 3 days ago. At his birthday party, I gave him a birthday card, and this is what I wrote. He took the birthday card handed it to his mother, and said, "Can you tell me what this says?" Because he couldn't read that. That's scary. That our children couldn't read cursive, and he could not read that writing. And it wasn't written bad, but it was written so that it could be readable. But he could not read it. We've had changes in our shows, and we have got to deal with those changes. And two of the changes that I am familiar with, and probably you all are, is going back over 30 years ago, there was a man in this room who had a vision. His vision was to make Kitchen Craft a household name. Everybody out there would know Kitchen Craft. They are going to know Americraft. They put on the side of a hangar. You got to drive past and see Americraft. Every day you go to Leesburg in Florida. Americraft and Kitchen Craft was going to be a household name, and everybody was going to know it. And guess what? It happened. David, where's he at? Thank you. Let's give Mr. Hurley a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. What an accomplishment. I can't tell everybody here how many shows that I've done this year. I've looked at the audience and say, how many people here have Kitchen Craft? And guess what? I can't tell you how many times, I don't know of very many shows that I've done where people didn't go, yes, we already have it. Yes, we've already got it. Yes, my sister has it. Yes, my mother has it. Yes, my grandmother has it. I got my grandmother's Kitchen Craft. It's become a household name. And that's kind of scary, because when we started out, people didn't know what Kitchen Craft was. They knew about waterless cookware, but they didn't know what Kitchen Craft was, and it was a lot easier. We didn't have to work as hard. Now we got to work 3 times harder than we've ever worked. We've got to work way harder. I wish I could make that easier, but we got to work hard. And the other thing, the other change, of course, and we talked a little bit about it yesterday, was the cell phone, the proverbial cell phone. It's become too easy for the consumer to look us up, look fast and too quick, and we are still stretching out our demonstrations for over an hour and a half to 2 hours. We can't do that no more, guys. We gotta, somewhere along the ladder, you've got to take that moment and sit down and figure out what is working, what isn't working, and we've got to shorten those demonstrations. It's probably as simple as that. The other thing is, because we have become a household name, and because everybody here knows how many demonstrations they've done, how many we've done in the last 30 years, if there's 5 home shows in a major city, we do all 5, for the most part. And don't forget the boat show that's in that city. And don't forget the RV show that's in that city. And don't forget the sports show that's in that city. We have become a household name. Can I get a copy of those, Lord? Anyway, so we've become a household name, and there have been changes. Stu, I took your seat.
That's okay.
Rob's going to help you.
That's the worst thing that happens to me. I'll consider myself fortunate.
So, I have, at this point, have been asked to do one of the what I think is the hardest job out here, and we're going to go back to Salesmanship 101. To me, it's easy. I have a passion for teaching sales and making sure everybody is on target. With our shows, we have got, Robin told you earlier, that we get a lot of calls because people are coming up to my cookware because we've become such a household name. They seen that show last year. They seen it the year before. They seen it the year before. And now they're ready to buy. And they don't want to sit through another demonstration. They don't want the drudgery of having to sit there and watch three little snotty kids eat those carrots. They want to buy. And we're not selling them. Wow. Mike, you want to do this part of the program? We're going to have a little bit of fun with everybody because at this point, I'm going to kind of show you with these two, and just to open up the gauge just a little bit. My couple here is coming to a home show, and I am at the home show with the cookware, of course, laid out. I haven't started a demo yet. It's a real slow. It's very first show of the morning. Nothing's going on. People are starting to come in, and I'm in the second row in there. And I have a couple here that would like to come back, and they have seen the demo before. They're here to buy cookware. Start with your program. Here they are coming in the door of the home show.
Honey, we only have about an hour and a half to see this entire show.
All right, babe, I know what I want. Let's just go. Come on. Let's go. We'll just get it.
Let's just go and get our Coke. Well, I hope he's not doing a show. Well, if he is, we can't wait.
Hi guys, how you doing today?
Good.
Can I help you with anything? Are you well, why don't you guys do me a favor? Sit down. We're just getting ready to get a show started. And go ahead and sit down.
Well, we're on the schedule. We have a short time. We need to get going. Just want to know what the prices are.
I know. Well, we're giving away one of these kitchen cutters at the end of the show. And we're just getting ready to get started now. So you got a chance to get one of those free.
Well, we've already seen the show last year.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm starting a show here, and this can help you understand the product.
Let's just throw that off.
Thanks anyway. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Somebody hit that man in the head. Okay. Anyway, this is what we're getting. This is what is happening, guys. I've watched it and we've heard it. We're getting too many phone calls in the office, and this is what's happening. To make it even more fun, the couple had an hour and a half to get through the show. So I did not sell them cookware because I kept trying to get them to sit down. And sit down. And sit down. This is what we were taught. An hour goes by, Michael, as the hour goes by, and they have to leave, I did my demo. They come back.
Let's go back one more time and see if this guy will give us the prices. I really want this cookware.
I know, right?
Oh, hi guys. Did you come back for the show?
No, we came back to actually see if we can go through the sets.
Oh, good, yeah, because we have some new prices this year, so we want you to see those new prices, but you got to sit down so I can give you those new prices. Sit down, we're going to go ahead and start the show right now. So go ahead and grab a seat, we'll get that show started. I'm sorry, you have to leave.
We got a good show.
I got to start the show. That was just part of the fun stuff. Anyway, that's what we're getting in. That's what we're getting at the shows right now. We're getting a lot of people doing this, and this is from last year. I gave everybody baseballs. Anyway, so we brought it back this year because we didn't really get a chance to go through it enough last year because Charlie talked a lot last year. So, we have rules for walk-ups. And the very first page here, if everybody's got this in front of them, is stay in your booth or you never get walk-ups. How many times, and I can ask Dave this, I can ask Robin this, and a lot of the managers, Tim. How many times have you walked up to the booth and the person's not even in the booth? They're not there. You're gone. And for what reason? Well, I hope to go to the bathroom, to get a drink, take a 4-minute break, 5-minute break. But when we come out to the show, go ahead.
I have to share this with you because y'all are not going to believe this actually happened, but Michael confirmed it. I actually got a video, and if y'all send these to me, it really pisses me off, by the way. They take their video camera, they're leaving their booth because they want to video how slow the show is, and they actually, oh, excuse me, ma'am, to go down a dead aisle, but there are all these people that are there in front of their show that they could have talked to, and it all takes is one, but it's like, they're so busy leaving the booth to give me a video or to make an excuse to the ISD why the show was bad, because and they're out there videotaping, they're not in their booth. Just talk to the people that are there. It works. Sorry, Mark, but don't send me those videos.
Stay in your booth. You got to stay in your booth. You're going to take a break. That's common sense. Nobody's saying don't go to the bathroom. Nobody's saying don't get a drink. Nobody's saying don't take a 5-minute walk. But to leave your booth for 35, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and especially at the end of the day. This is when the people have watched your demonstration, have thought about what they were going to get, knew they were going to get it, and they came back and you were not there. Or you left early. Demonstrations take priorities over walk-ups. As I said before, our demonstrations, what we do, that takes the priority. Walk-ups are the bonus, they're the plus. But there are lots of walk-ups that we can sell. And how many people here have ever done a demo and didn't sell anything? I don't think that's ever happened. Take care of the people that are ready to buy. Never prejudge your consumer until you qualify and questions have been answered. This brings me to this page here. There are 4, and I've only put out 3 because I'm going to talk about the first one. There are 4 different types of walk-ups that we're going to deal with here, but the first one is the non-buyer. Let me give you an explanation of what the non-buyer walk-up person is. Who's going to waste your time. I know that's never happened to any of us. Who's going to waste your time, and basically it works like this. They are down the aisle, they're looking at the chamois. And the guy says to them, "Oh, have you guys seen the chamois before?" "Yeah, we've seen the chamois. How much are they?" "Well, we've got the set here for $20, and you can buy, if you do it today, we'll throw in an extra set for the $20. $20 for a set of cloths? $20? Oh, honey, let's go. Ooh, look, here's knives. Ooh, Cutco. So, how much is this knife, sir?" "It's $125. $125 for one knife?" "Oh, honey, we can do this. Let's keep going." Oh, look, cookware. Wait till I get a hold of those folks. And if a $125 knife was too much, what's going to happen when it comes to the cookware? Oh, wow. Wow, how much is the cookware? Are you in the market for the cookware right now? "Oh, well, we've got some old pots and pans at home." Good, sit down, enjoy the show. "You know what? I think I will. Honey, what did you want to look at?" "Well, you go ahead and look. You going to the bathroom?" "Good. Go to the bathroom, go look at your stuff. I'm going to sit here and watch this guy." You're a non-buyer. And if he doesn't do it that way, the first thing they want to do is, "So how much is it?" Folks, I promise you, if the first thing out of their mouth is how much is it, they're not buying it. They're not going to get it from you. How much is it? They've already asked everybody down the aisle how much it is.
It's free.
It's very good. Never prejudge your consumer, though, until your qualifying question may answer. The reason I bring that up is because you've got to ask the right questions. Because people lie, find the true reason they are standing in front of you. The second walk-up, those who are ready to buy and have seen the demo already. Has that happened to anybody this year? It's going to happen a lot more because we've done all these shows over the years. People have seen it. And anybody's ever worked with me or I'm sure it happens to all of you because it happens to me all the time, because they walk up and they go, we've seen it last year, we've seen it the year before, we've seen it the year before. How many people have had the same person come back 3 years in a row and watch the show? How about 4, maybe 5? How many do you have groupies?
18.
Anybody have groupies out there? We all got groupies. They got to come by and sit and watch a show. These people are ready to buy, and they haven't seen the demo, and they've seen the demos already. Anybody here in this room, and I should ask this question too, have you ever wanted to buy something that cost a lot of money, but you didn't buy it right then, you had to think about it? There are consumers out there that do that. I'm one of those people that if I buy something and it costs a lot of money, and I think that I made the right purchase, but I'm still questioning myself, I get very sick to my stomach. And I go home, did I make the right choice? Did I do this? So I'm one of those people that I research and I shop because I'm going to make that best deal. Anything over $100 to me is a lot of money. So I'm going to go research, I'm going to think about it. And I'm not even a millennial. But I'm going to research, I'm going to find out, because I got to make the best deal. I drive people crazy around me when I'm trying to buy something. It took me 3 weeks to buy a computer because I went to the same store 4 times. Those people are ready to buy, and we've got to take that opportunity to sell them. This is what you're there for. And too many times, they are walking away. Yes, we need those people to sit down in our demonstration. Yes, if you ask them once, go ahead and sit down, we're going to start our demonstration, and they can't stay for any reason, whatever the reason may be, then your first question is, are you in the market for cookware today? Ask them, are you in the market for cookware today? Don't be afraid to ask that question. Steve's got the greatest question of all, especially when they come up and go, how much is it right away? Are you in the market for cookware, or are you just curious? I just love it. It took me weeks to learn that, but I got it. I finally got it this year. Thank you, Steve. 12 most common questions, if you want to go to page 2. 12 most common questions, action statements made by walk-ups. How much is it? If that's the first question, chances are they're not buying. I could probably give you about a 99% ratio on that one. Tell me more. Tell me about your cookware. Guys, if they're asking you to tell them about the cookware, tell them about it. Sit down, watch the show. I don't have time for the show right now. We've got about an hour and 20 minutes. Or we've just been here for 3 hours and I got a wedding to get to. Tell me about your cookware. Are you in the market for cookware today? Are you in the market for cookware today? No, we're just looking. Here's a brochure. Come back when you're ready. Don't waste my time. Is this the waterless cookware? I watched your show last year. Is everything still the same? Whoa. Do you hear that question? I watched your show last year. Is everything still the same? They're asking you. They're ready to buy. That is a buying question. Is it non-stick? What does waterless mean? My sister, my mother, my cousin has a set. I got to tell you, if a relative in their family has a set and you're not selling them, you need to go back to salesmanship 101. DuQuoin, Illinois. That was our first question. Everybody came up to the booth. We had a table, smaller than this, with the cookware laid on the table. Never a demo, never a carrot, never a piece of chicken. At the DuQuoin State, Illinois Fair. Not one demo, not one thing cooked. And what, $52,000 later, when the sets were $589, $52,000 later, Dave and I was walking out of that tent. Our first question was, does somebody in your family already own this cookware? That was our first question. Who had the cookware? I already own the cookware. Oh my gosh. I worked with a few people, and I won't mention names. I don't even know if they're with us anymore, but a customer came up and said, I already own the cookware. They turned to me and go, I can't believe this. They were upset because the person said they already owned the cookware. And they totally quit on that person, thinking they couldn't sell them anything. That they couldn't get a set for their sister, their brother, their cousin, their uncle. First thing somebody comes and says, I already own the cookware. Oh, great. Are you ready to share this with your family? With one of your children? Wow. You ready to share it? The word share, powerful word. You ready to share this with your children? What a great statement. Because all of a sudden now, the people that already own the cookware can still buy it, guys. They want to buy it again. They want to buy it for their kids. You know why? Because the millennials can't afford it. The millennials got a brand new home. They got 2 brand new BMWs. Their clothes are done. The kids are in school, private school. The millennials aren't getting it, so who are getting it for them? Their parents. And if they've already owned it, who better to sell than the parents? To get them to get it for their children. Oh, would you like to share this with your kids? How many times in your show you look at, how many people in here have ever had a demonstration? This is going to be a fun question. And you looked at the audience, it said, how many people out here have waterless cookware or kitchen craft? Raise your hands. And out of 5 couples, 4 of them raised their hands. Anybody have that happen? But, you know, the funniest show I ever did was 5 years after the DuQuoin State Fair, that one that we did. I looked out there and I said, how many people have this cookware? Every hand went up. Every hand in Southern Illinois, DuQuoin, Illinois, went up. And I looked at that lady and said, you've got this cookware. How long have you had it? I had it 12 years. Good. Where'd you get your cookware from? Oh, he was the nicest man. His name was Dave Hurley. And he came in here and he sold my mom a set and he sold me a set. Dave Hurley goes, Dave Hurley, tall, thin guy, had a mustache. That was him. Yeah, I bought my cookware from him too. And he goes, that's who I got my cookware from. I got my cookware from him too. The whole show. He sold every one of them. Thank you. That was sold every single one of them. A set of cookware. I'm going back, just so you all know, this is 27 years ago, maybe 26. Now, when I did that show, the first thing you do is you get very discouraged. And you go, who am I going to sell? Or what am I going to sell? And it was at that moment when I finished up the show and we went through the closing, and I looked at the audience, I said, for all of you who have your cookware, which one is getting the first set for their children? And I had 3 hands go up. Sold 3 out of everybody that already owned the cookware. So please, if they have it, this is a bonus. This is a bonus for you if they own it. What do we talk about? What have we talked about for a day and a half yesterday was using those people that own it, that love it, your testimonials. So we're going to go right back to testimonials again because it is so important that you use these testimonials in your show. Because they're going to come back and watch your show again and again and again because they want to be a testimonial. Do you understand that people want to tell people how good this is? They want to be your testimonial. But if you get discouraged because you ask 5 couples who has it, and 4 of them say, yeah, you go, oh, who am I going to sell now? If you really want a good statement for those people, and you want to keep them in your show, which I love to keep the people that help for my testimonials, you say, gosh, let's see, you have it, you have it, you have it, and you have it. Okay, and you two don't, that's okay. You, after we're done with the show, you can be part of the family as well.
Wow.
Wow, you can be part of our family as well. And then I look at the other group of people and I say to them, for any of you that already own your cookware, that is so great, but don't leave, because today we have a special sale price for you folks to add on to those pieces that you wanted for the last year. Or, what was the other question I was talking, what was it? Oh, I remember. The other question is, you can ask your audience, you know, we sell by questions. If you haven't figured that out on our show yet, watch Cam. I've never seen so many questions. Cam's got every question in the book. But ask questions. Has anybody here in the audience, after you've already asked a question, you've got 4 couples out of 5 that say, yeah, I already have it. You can ask the question to your audience. Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have been in your kitchen in the last couple of years, and as you were starting to cook something, starting to put something on the stove, you realized there was a size pan that you didn't have? One that you needed. Why don't you close your eyes for a second? Which pan was it? Now hold that thought, because at the end of the show, we're going to have a special for all of you for that size pan that you needed for your kitchen. Wow. Sell the people that already have the cookware. No questions asked, just picking up the cookware and looking at it. If somebody walks up to you, or walks up to your booth and they're looking at the cookware, you're with somebody and they're doing this, they're talking to their spouse, or they're just looking at it. How many people hand a pan around in their demonstration? Okay. Does anybody watch the people that are looking at the pan? Well, I'm going to bring this up because it gets missed. This is a buying sign. This is why we developed this part of the program, to hand this out. Not because we wanted them to feel the pan, because we do, we want them to feel the pan. Watch the people that pick up the pan when you hand it out. And if they do this with the pan, as soon as you hand it to them, that's a buying sign, saying, I'm not interested. But if you hand that pan out, and the lady looks at it, she picks it up, she looks at the back, she does this, she hands it to her husband, he looks at it, what do you think they're doing? They're checking out what they want to buy. But if you don't see that, if you're, and we caught that on video, that was one of those things where we videoed the audience, watching them, and the people that were taking the time to look at the pan were the ones that were buying the cookware. Because they were serious about it. They were looking, they didn't go, because the ones that do this, they're waiting on the food.
Mark, can I add something there real quick?
Go ahead.
What I've done recently is last person have that hand in hand. I don't ask for it back. I love to sit with it. I can say probably the percentage is higher than 65–70%. That couple that hand was sitting on their lap for the last 40 minutes, they're going to buy.
The longer they hold it, the better. And it's even funnier though, but you also, and again, you probably already know this, but if you don't know this, if you got that yes couple, the one that's shaking their head yes, the ones that are looking at it, the ones that are doing this, make sure they're the last ones to get the pan. In other words, if they're on this corner, and I'm going to say, we'll start here, we'll go all the way around back to them. Or vice versa. If it's the other way around, I'm going to go all the way around back to them. Or if this couple right here, and I've got 2 rows of seats, and this is my couple that's giving my yes, and my, oh yeah, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to say we're going to go in a circle, we're going to come back, and we're going to end up with you. Oh, is that all right? Okay. Make sure that last couple holds onto that pan. It's magic to be able to do that. Of course, the third page, the 10 first questions you may want to use to continue your conversation. Number 2, those who know the product and are very serious, probably a relative owns it. They didn't see the demo. They've never seen a demo, but one of their relatives owns the cookware. Brother, sister, mother. Those people on walk-ups, if you're late in the evening, it's later, you've finished your demos, you're cleaning up, you got to be very careful with this, because these are the people that I want to get to sit down right here and right here. But we're going to talk about these because these people have already owned it and they're serious about having the cookware. By the same token, as I talk about these, what everybody does, and I watch all the new people, this person comes up and says, can tell me a little bit, my sister has this cookware, or my mom got a set of the waterless cookware years ago, and our cookware shop, we were looking at this cookware, and the first thing that new person does is they go into, as they show the cookware, and we're giving away a kitchen cutter free to go with that set. Can't pick it up. We're going to give this away to you just for getting a set of cookware. Wow. They didn't see it used. What is it? They have no idea what it is. For all they know, this sucks dents out of cars. By the way, it works really good. But I'm talking about experience. But here's the thing. This thing here is used in our show, and in case any of you haven't figured out, during our demonstrations, people are not buying cookware. They're buying this, and they're buying the slow cooker. That's what they're buying. The cookware is free. Well, we reversed it. They're going to buy the cookware. We're going to throw this in free. But if they've never seen this, what good is it? What's it going to do for me? To give it away free. That's why it's so valuable that as in your training, you learn what items you can hand out and learn the customer. Start asking questions to that consumer. Find out what their cooking needs are. Find out what kind of cooking they do. Do they use a square griddle? Do you do breakfast? Wow. How about slow cooking? Or how about even something better? How about a stir fry? Well, we got to get rid of some logs, guys. By the way, this thing in the factory, I learned a lot about what we have in the factory. We got to get rid of some walks. Right? Don't get rid of the walks. Okay. But ask those questions. Where do you learn to ask questions? You go back to your sales books that I told you to get. And who was it that I told you to get? I said, go back to these sales books, because they'll give you the questions that you need to ask the consumer what they need and get them into a buying situation. Go ahead, Tim.
Mark, you're going to walk up during a show, okay? Someone comes, they know they want to buy, maybe it's just a piece, and you're in the middle of a show, you know this person has no time. What do you do?
Okay, that's a good question. For all of you that are couples, you have such an advantage over one person. I watched Charlie and Monica work together. Why are they so cool? Cav and Sapal. You know, Cav's back there and Sapal's back there. She's probing. She's watching. And she's on, boy. And Sapal, boy, she sees somebody watching, she'll go. Paul will catch you in the run, and what an advantage! God bless Cam for Paul. He's the luckiest man on the planet. But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
That is the correct answer.
Good answer, man. Good answer. For any of you that have couples, you have an advantage, and I can only say that if I have a partner working with me, I have 2 spare clipboards sitting in the back. Now, please, again, this is a fine line, guys. We're walking on a little fine line here, because we're still trying to get the people to sit down. We still have to do the demos. But you've got that couple that have seen you 3 years in a row. They've already bought the family set. They come back and bought a classic set, or they bought a deluxe and they need that bakeware. And if somebody doesn't take care of them now, they're going to walk away. And that happened to me at the Texas State Fair. Where's he? Where's Ken Perry? Where's Ken? Yeah. Had a couple walk up to me. I'm by myself. I'm doing the demo, and they're looking back at the bakeware, and they're talking among themselves, and I'm still doing my demo. But you cannot stop your demo, and please. We got to work percentages, ladies and gentlemen. You never stop your demo. I wish you can't get my, even with the walk-ups, do not stop your demo. You have to keep going. You just have to hope that that couple comes back. And if they don't, then they go to Ken Perry's booth and they buy that set of bakeware. Anyway. That was funny. But anyway, I just happened to recognize their outfits, which was crazy. But
Thank you for that.
to go back to what you were saying, Tim, if any of you are working as a couple, can I ask just for fun, how many couples are working together out there? How many do I have? I know you and Katie, I got them, you got two, you've got your wife, you guys work together. Do you both do demos? Do you both do demos? Or just you? Just you? You guys are working together? And I got them back there. Good. Okay. You guys have, and I know the cabin's small, you guys have got an advantage. You may have two advantages. One is, if you guys are not doing demos for your spouse and that partner, you are making a grave error. That is the greatest thing that you have to start a demo for. You're talking to a living, breathing obstacle, which is how many people have trouble starting a show with empty seats? It's the hardest thing in the world. But if your spouse is with you, wouldn't it be so much easier? You got an advantage over everybody else because you can start a show for her.
Or just put the dog in the chair, right?
Do what?
You put your dog in the chair.
I put my dog in the chair. I wasn't going to go into that. Anybody knows me, Milo, who travels with me, sits in the front seat, and I start a show for my dog.
Is he by?
That dog has made me a lot of money. I'm going to tell you that right now. And if anybody's ever come by and watched a show, they got videos of Milo. He doesn't move. He stays right there in the front seat until I get the show started. It's pretty funny. It's really funny. So, you start the show, you got to be doing the demo. You have, and you're like me, if your wife's not with you or you're working by yourself, how do you handle that walk-up? There's a couple different ways of doing it. One is as they walk up and they are looking at cookware, you're in your demo, you're right in the middle very quickly. You don't want to stop your demo, but very quickly. Guys, go ahead and grab a seat. Do you already own the cookware? Here's a good chance to get a testimonial. This is a real good opportunity for that testimonial because you can look and say, guys, do you already own the cookware? Yeah, we're here to get some pieces. Great, I've got some wonderful specials for you. Go ahead and grab a seat, and as soon as I finish this up, we'll get right back to you. I got special prices for you. I've got special prices for you. Make them happy. Get them to sit down. And if they don't, well, we're going to come back and get the cookware, please. And if you do it right, come on back here in about 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll get you set up with those sale prices that we have because you've already got the cookware. Thank you. And use those people as, try and do your best to keep them there, but use them as testimonials, okay? Walk-ups for pieces. We're going to go back to a fine line again, because is it better to do a demo, or is it better to sell somebody a 1 quart?
Demo.
Wow. You have to weigh that out. And I can't do that standing in front. I don't know your crowds. I don't know your location. I don't know where you are in the booth. I don't know how many people's walking in front of you. And I don't know how many demos you've already done that day. I don't know none of that. Only you know that. Is it better to start a demo and talk to 10 or 15 people, or is it better to try and get somebody over the hump to buy a kitchen cutter? Ask the questions. If they're there, if they've never seen a kitchen cutter before, this is a good one too. If they've never seen the kitchen cutter before and you decide to show them the kitchen cutter without doing a demonstration, you have missed the audience that could be sitting down and watching that is your prime time for, well, we don't have time to do a show, and you've got 50 people walking in front of your booth, and they don't have time to see a show because they're in the market for a kitchen cutter. I'm letting them walk. I'm not selling them a kitchen cutter. I'm not going to spend 45 minutes taking the chance on them not buying the kitchen cutter when I could have been doing a demo for 20 people and selling 3 sets of cookware. So you have to weigh out your differences. You have to be the one to say, here is where I'm going to make that decision at that moment. There's going to be nobody there to do that for you. Those who need the cookware have shop quality and are in the market for cookware. This one here is important. Price is not an issue. They want to make a good decision. So what have they done? They've shopped every store, they've looked for the cookware, they've went online, they've done everything they needed to do, they've walked in your presentation, and they're ready to look at the cookware. This is the couple that you want to get them to sit down in your demonstration by all means. Can you sell this couple? Yes. Can you sell them without doing a demonstration? Yes. But it's going to be your hardest sale because they know nothing educational about your product other than what they've seen online. So this one here is the one where you definitely want to be getting them to sit down. If by all means as the walk-up, the other ones I'm going to, and no, I will sell them without doing a demonstration if I can. And again, that's another whole 2 days of training, is selling walk-ups on what questions to ask at the right moment and doing it the right way. But you got to know that you can do that. And again, since we don't have the time, make sure you get the book. Now, the other one that we're going to cover very quickly, and where are we at here? Okay. Let me do that one. Any questions while I'm doing this?
Mark, one of the things that I don't want to get a no answer.
Okay.
So what I've kind of, and again, I know Mr. Hurley, he can read people perfectly. People walk by my booth when he's in my booth and, oh, you own our cookware. I don't want somebody to say no. So what I changed was, how many of you own our cookware or know somebody who does? Everybody either owns it or knows
somebody. Say that again one more time.
How many of you own our cookware or knows somebody who does?
Okay.
So I've opened up a whole lot more people to say yes, because either you own it or you know somebody who owns it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I want to get more yeses than I want to get. I don't want to get a no ever.
You don't ever want no's. Ask always a yes question,
Right.
if you can get it. And again, that's only that's a common sense thing when you do that. And brother, sister, aunt, uncle, how many of you are familiar with the cookware? Also opens it up because they may not own it, but they're familiar with it. Another thing too, if you ask them if they're familiar with it, how many of you are familiar with the cookware? Brother, sister, uncle, aunt, uncle, and their hands go up. How many of them own it or you own it?
Yeah.
Okay, there's another way of doing it. There's hundreds. Like I said, it's a 2-day program to go into the 100. And Sal took care of 7 years. Anyway,
It's 3 years.
I mean,
No, that was Sam.
I'm just teaching you for when you came over. Okay. The other thing about walk-ups that I want to discuss with everybody is you've got that one couple. Oh, by the way, in case anybody doesn't know, when we started this year's year, we had the same problem that everybody here in this room has, and that's building an audience. We've all had that. We've had that from day one. Getting the audience to sit down. If you had a partner with you, it was a lot easier because you always had somebody there to start a show for. But I didn't. And for any of you that don't, and you don't have a dog,
You get one. I'm bringing my dog.
you can borrow Milo. Anyway, for any that don't, one of the things that I used to do years ago was I would put an apple, an orange, and a banana in the front seat of my show. And as I put that orange, that apple, and that banana in the front seat of my show, people would walk up and I'd say, as they were walking past, I'd say, ladies and gentlemen, how many guys are health conscious? Raise your hands. Oh, all three of you. Good job. I'll tell you what. So I got that apple, banana, and orange. Very good. So all of you look very healthy. Okay, very good. We're going to start our show just for you three. And people would walk by and they would look. Who's he talking to? And they would ask, what are you talking to? Apple, orange, and banana. I tell you what, we're starting our show. Why don't you go sit down, pick the piece of fruit you want. That's yours. Enjoy the show.
Well, when do the guys in the white coat show up?
Got a dog and one fruit.
So, the other mistake we make with the walk-ups and being new is we're trying to get that demonstration going, and you've got the one couple that sat down. You used the tools, you did it right. You used the juicer, and nobody sat down. You used the paring knives, and nobody sat down. You did the salad, nobody sat down. Put your dog in there, nobody sat down. You tried everything, nobody sat down. And then all of a sudden, that one couple sits down. And you keep trying to build another show. You keep trying to build to get another full audience, like you're going to fill up those 10, 15, 20 chairs. Start the show. Start the demonstration for the two people. Two people only. In case anybody has not did the mathematics. One couple, 3 shows, 150 show days a year. I know that's pretty hard for you, Steve. 150 shows. Anyway, 150 show days, average 3 demos a day. Average. Now we're not using, I know some do 4, some do 5, some do 6. Average 3 demos a day. One set is over $1 million in sales on an average of $2,200 per set. It's actually $999,000. Okay, one set, one couple is all you need to start your demonstration, period. You've got the couple, start the show. I watched, a while back, I'm going back 8 months ago, I'm working with a couple, and the couple sits down and he says, so what's your name? You're Reggie? Wow, I'm Holly? Great. Well, we're going to start our show here in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're starting our show here. Come on in, grab a seat. We're going to be starting our show here in just a few minutes. Yeah, start our show here. Start the show. Not only did they not start the show for the couple that was there, they kept trying to build the audience. That couple got up and left and they had nothing. Here's some magic words. Some magic. This one has worked for me all year. I can't tell you how many one couple shows I've done, and I've sold them every time because of this right here. How about I do a private show just for you? If someone sits down, that's okay. This is your show. Wow. This is your show. I'm going to do a private show just for you too. If somebody sits down, great. This is your show. Now, what have I done? I gave them so much special. What if somebody does sit down? And they sit down, and they sit down, and they sit down. So what? This is their show. It's like taking that skip and handing it to the rest of the show. It is theirs. And it's ownership. Create ownership with the consumer. That's my ownership. This is your show. And it's so important that we understand that. And then last but not least,
Hey, Mark, just to kind of piggyback on that, you know, I'm sorry, the gentleman, the 2 people in the front row that are in your show, their names, real quick?
their names?
Yeah, up front, right there.
Reggie and Holly.
Reggie and Holly. You know, you say start a show. Reggie, where are you from? Reggie, what do you do for a living? Reggie, what do you do for fun? Holly, what do you do? I've started this show, but I haven't started the show because I'm going to build that rapport for a few minutes with them, give them a little free gift.
Salad, cake.
Stall. That's
I
a
don't
good
want to call
word.
it stalling.
You want to say it, stall.
I'm building that rapport with them, the
At the same
relationship with them.
time.
At the same time of that little bit of stalling, and then, you know what, guys, let's get started. We're going to do a personal show. Like exactly what you're saying. Don't go starting the show by doing the demo.
I'm not saying start that show immediately.
Right.
I'm not saying get up there and start cranking out carrots.
Right.
I'm saying use that couple to your benefit, but start the show, start talking to them, create a rapport. But here's the thing. If they are the only couple that sits down, you change your program from a conversation, from a demonstration to a conversation. It is no longer a demonstration anymore, it's a conversation with that consumer. This is my conversation. We are on one level. It's not a program. Please don't go into, and they sat down and, guys, I'll tell you what, move on over here to the closing side over here. Come on over here, everybody, you guys move over here. That's the only couple. And then, oh, this was a good one year. One couple in there, and the guy says, and for the first 3 couples that say yes, boy, they're going to get this kitchen cutter free. Oh, you guys win. Guys, if it's one couple, a demonstration to a conversation. Change your program, become a conversationalist. Where are you guys from? You live here? Good. And by the way, if you do not, and wherever you work, you better become those people. When I go down to Texas, I'm wearing a cowboy hat. I got my cowboy boots on. Man, I look like Johnny Cash. When I'm in Texas, I'm when I'm up 2 fairs earlier in New York, you think I'm wearing a cowboy hat in Texas? I'm at the New York State Fair. Go ahead.
One thing I did in work, I was at a Army base.
Army
It's
base.
kind of where you walk in, and you know where the boogie said at Walmart, and I was kind of set up over to the side. And Mr. Hurley came, and I had 15 chairs set up, and he was like, "Man, you're not going to build that kind of crowd at this location." So I moved all my chairs out and kept 2 chairs there and sold 2 sets. But I could have spent the whole time trying to.
Did y'all hear that? At the military base, they had 14, 15 chairs out, and then took them away. Dave said, take the chairs away. You don't need that many chairs. 2, 4
I was spent 3 days trying to get it.
Exactly. And you're trying to build that crowd, and you're not going to do that on any military base. And Steve, I know you had called me on that, and we had talked about how to not set out so many chairs as well. Anybody here ever been to a Red Lobster? Good. Anybody here ever been to an Outback? Why is it you can take the same day, the same night, the same street, and you walk up and you could go, and they could be within 2 blocks of each other. You got a Red Lobster and you got an Outback. And you go to the Outback and there's a line out the door. There's a wait for 30 minutes. There's a wait for 40 minutes. You go down the street to the Red Lobster and they say, come on in, we got a table for you. How come I can get a table at Red Lobster? Does that make the food at Red Lobster better or worse? Because I can go in and get a table right away at Red Lobster? I'll tell you a little secret that Outback figured out. Red Lobster's got 50 more chairs, 50 more tables. They got bigger restaurants, so they can seat more people, which is good. But the people that are driving by the Outback going, oh my gosh, that food probably tastes great. There's a line out the door. I can't imagine how good that food tastes. That's got to be one heck of a restaurant. The food there must be really good. Let's go there. Let's go stand in line for an hour. If you put out and you've got 20 chairs, and you're not filling those 20 chairs, and you put 2 people in 20 chairs, it looks very blank. But if I put out 10 chairs, and I get 2 or 4 people to sit down, what does it look like now? David told you yesterday the magic of this right here. The person bent over the counter writing. You know why that was magic? Because the people that were down there go, well, what are they doing? Let's go, we got to do what they're doing. We got to see what they're doing. That was magic. So it's exactly the same way. If you got 4 chairs and 4 are filled, you're just, oh my gosh, honey, let's stand there and watch what he's doing because everybody's sitting down. Well, of course they are. You only have 4 chairs.
Hey, Mark.
Go ahead.
Brett, tell them what you and Lena do.
Oh my gosh.
Because I love what these guys do. Well, no. Okay, loaded question, but when you guys do with your chairs, because when you're doing with a couple, yeah. Well, what you do with your chairs at the North Carolina State Fair, how you do it?
First 20, put the tents on the sides, fill the first 20 up, and then bring the last third row out as the first 20 fill up. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're working in a couple, that other person just kind of fills those chairs in the background. So, because I noticed that with that big booth, because I used your booth this year, and I had a whole bunch of chairs out there, but I would do the same thing. I would sit in the back row, and we always fight to bring them forward. But if there's no back row, if you've got an extra person, it just makes so much more sense.
And again, that's the advantage of having somebody with you to go, hey, I filled those chairs. Now you start putting those chairs out there and add it to it. That's such a bonus to have somebody working with you to do that. And if you can do that, for any of the other couples, do you understand what they did? You've got 10 chairs or 20 chairs out there. Let's say you only have 10 chairs. Put out 5. When you fill the 5 or 6, make sure she's standing in the back to grab 2 more while the people are coming up saying, and you don't just put the chairs out. Let a couple come up and stand behind you and let them watch for a second. And then you go say, oh, you guys got to sit down. Watch the show. Sit down. Get them to sit down and do the show. But use that to your advantage because you're a couple. You have that advantage. If you have trouble coming up with questions, one of the things that I tell a lot of the new people as I'm training is before you go to a show, sit down, take the time to research, and write out questions you can ask your consumer at that show, because every show is different. I'm going to ask different questions at a sports show than I'm going to ask at a home show. I'm going to ask certain questions at the farm show that we're going to be at in a few weeks than I am at the state fair. I'm going to have different questions set up. Oh, do you have a farm? You have a tractor? Have questions to ask these people. Are you in the market for cookware? Just curious. Are you familiar with the cookware? Have you seen our presentation before? Have your questions already there so you know and practice them. If you don't practice them, that ain't going to work, guys. There's one man in here. Oh, wait, he's the #1 in the company. Cam, what do you do 2 weeks, 3 weeks before you go out? Aren't you practicing? He's the #1 guy. Wouldn't you want to do what he does? So I hope that next week, before we all start off in January, somewhere in your garage, your basement, somewhere you got a demonstration set up in there so you're practicing. What was the first thing I told you? Yesterday, start practicing. The season's coming. It's here. The White Walkers are coming. Game of Thrones. White Walkers. Okay. Anyway, is there, before we got about 3 more minutes, any questions very quickly on walk? Where do you do the walk up? This is you guys. I'm not there at the show, and I don't know. I'm just saying the presentation is first. Walk-ups are second, but don't ignore the walk-ups. They're your buyers now, guys. They are going to be, and by the way, just so you know, at the Texas State Fair, $30,000 that I wrote this year was just walk-ups at the Texas State Fair. Just walk-ups. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is not as much a question, but you gave me such good advice one time, so I'd like you to maybe share it with some of the new people. Is our demonstration is designed, when you have the close, is to finalize the sale. So on a walk-up, go through how you get them from, now I've explained everything about the cookware, how do we close? Where is the pen hitting the paper? What do you ask? What do you say?
Where's the close? Okay. I'll do that real fast because this is kind of cool. And again, there's only one other person I know that's got this down, Dave, you know, it's how we did it, you know, this is what we did years ago. But you're sitting down with that consumer. Do we have any clipboard? Did you have any? Reggie? And Mike, we're going to do some bread here in a second, okay?
Smells good.
Okay. They're there, thanks. Okay, they're there. They've sat down. They've watched your presentation. You went through the close with them. Okay, now let me ask you a question, or anybody wants. We can ask some of these questions. Does the family own the cookware, or is it have they seen a presentation before?
Let's just say that haven't seen the demonstration, but they're in the market for cookware.
But they're in the market for cookware. Okay. This is going back to the number 3. Okay, so they're in the market for cookware. They've already went through the program, and so can everybody hear me okay? Okay, so without the microphone. So I'm going to do this right here. They've got this in front of them, and I've went through the sets with them. Okay? I've asked the questions from this couple. What exactly was it that they liked, what they cooked? And I happen to know that she really loved that square griddle. She loved that square griddle. He was infatuated with that 12-quart stock pot. He wanted that 12. He could taste it. And I went through the sets with them. They've already got the sets. They've got the prices. They knew that they wanted it. They've been shopping at Williams-Sonoma. They've looked up the all-clad. Oh, can't say it anymore. We looked up all those wonderful cookwares. They knew what they wanted, and I look at them, and you ask the question. You sit down. Now, here's the thing, too. You've got to be as relaxed with this couple as you can be. I mean, you got to be falling asleep. I mean, you got to be sleeping. One of the best ever I ever seen was talking to people with his eyes closed. Series of heartbeat, okay? You've got to be so relaxed. Sit down with the couple. Do not be standing. Sit down with them, couple. Cross your legs. Get relaxed. Get relaxed. Because the more relaxed you are, the more relaxed they are. They're going to sit there. They're going to sit there with you. They're going to be comfortable. And you've already know what set you are. And you look at them very politely, very quietly and say, so you guys know which sets you have, and knowing the size of your family, I'm saying the deluxe set where you get both the small, medium, and large would probably be the best set for you.
Would you agree?
Which set would be best for you? Do you like one of the smaller ones, or would you like the one in the middle, the deluxe set where you get the small, medium, and large? Which one will be more comfortable for you? Okay? Trial close. If you haven't read your sales books, that's all that is. It's a trial close. I'm asking them. I'm getting feedback. Oh, well, we really want that family set, or we really want that deluxe set. Take the form out and say, you guys are going to love this stuff. I'm going to tell you what. And you know, you see my. Oh my gosh, the people that love the cookware. Is that unbelievable? So you take the pen out. The pen is ready to write. You figure out which one's going to be the writer in there. You take the pen and you put it in their right hand, because 80% of the people are right-handed. And if you'll do me a favor, go ahead and fill this part out right here, and we'll take care of it right there. Okay? Now, does that happen that easy? No. You think they're just going to start writing then? No. I'm going to tell you the first thing that's going to come out of their mouth. As soon as they do this, and as soon as you hand that pen to them, they're going to look at it. They're not going to do anything. Cookware purgatory. They don't do anything. They just look at it. Look at each other. That's a lot of money. You know, that set at Williams-Sonoma, it's about $300 less. Salespeople are not good talkers. They're good listeners. They listen. They hear. Even with hearing things. They hear. So let me ask you a question again, Richard. Question, question, question. If any of you have not studied under Zig Ziglar, the greatest thing Zig ever gave to me, gotta love that man. The greatest thing he ever gave to me was go get yourself a red lettered edition Bible. Because in his book, See You at the Top, and in all his lectures, he would tell everybody, if you want to be a good salesman, who was the best salesman in the world? It was Jesus Christ. And what he said was, if you want to learn how to do what Jesus did, learn how to ask questions. Jesus never answered a question unless it was another question or a parable. What's a parable? It's the little old lady story. There's your parable. It's a story. That's all Jesus did. Jesus didn't say you had to follow me. He said, let me tell you a story. I'm going to tell you the story. You go, oh, now I can see why people would follow you. I got to follow you too. So you learn to ask questions. Everything in our program is a question. So Reggie, let me ask you a question. Okay, you guys like that deluxe set? Is that the one you like? You get the deluxe set. You know you're going to get small, medium, and large. But I know you guys are kind of pondering on the deal. Is there anything else that I could do for you guys to make this, a little bit better for you? To, just say, hey, yeah, we need to get it today.
I really like that 12 quart.
You like the 12 quart? At this point, you become an actor. If you give away the 12 quart right away that he wants, you've lost the sale. You know why? Because he's going to ask you for something else. Because he knows you gave in. Don't give in. Don't give it away so quickly. The best one you want to... I wish I had a video of you in Des Moines, Illinois. I'd give anything to have a video of Dave.
How about haven't you?
That man right there, why he isn't in Hollywood is beyond me. Because that man would do this. There's nobody behind him. But he's looking for that person.
Dead on.
You got the 12 card. Go ahead and fill this out. It's on there right there. Right there. Boom. Does that happen that fast? And Robin's telling me I got to move real quickly, or one more minute. No. It may not happen that fast. They may still keep going. And if they don't right then,
She really likes
I'll tell you what. And you like the square griddle? I'll tell you what. Let's just do them both. That's it. We're done. Next training class we'll go into, we can do this for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, this training. It's just salesmanship 101. In the meantime, this gentleman who had an extreme increase, and I know what, I almost have to, Mike, tell you that my sales went up, and my increases are part of you. Thank you. Yes, the old people can learn from the young people, the new people. And, we kept hearing about this bread thing. And I walked past Mike's booth, and Mike is doing bread. I don't know this until, as I'm walking by to check on him to see if he's doing his job. Man's always working. Always working. I walk past his booth, and bread. Garlic bread. Oregano bread. That's bread. And Mike takes it to the crowd and goes, look at this. There's the bread. Golden brown. It looked good. And I'm thinking, whoa. If I'm going to do a slow cooker with a roast, people got to have bread with dinner. I'm going to do bread too. I'm going to set up a second slow cooker. I'm going to buy a slow cooker, and I'm going to do bread, and I'm going to do a roast. Because while the bread was rising, even though it wasn't cooking, The smell was still there. The garlic, the oregano was still there. Even if you take the lid off, you could smell it a block away when you took the lid off. It was like the most awesome thing I ever seen. And when he showed this to me, he says, show me how you're doing this bread thing. I got to know how to do this bread. It was the easiest thing, because I'm in for easy. You know, I don't bake a cake. I don't fry chicken. Heck, I'm not even sampling food anymore. I'm in for easy. And I thought, boy, that bread thing was easy. And you want to talk about a wake-up call for people? This has been a wake-up call for me, and it's been a wake-up call for my consumers. And I'm going to tell you another little thing, too. For anybody that already has a slow cooker, that already got your slow cooker from you 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, what do you think they're going to do when you show them 2 slow cookers?
Get another one.
Oh, they got to get another slow cooker. They got to add another slow cooker to that set. Wow.
Do we need to explain
Can you guys all hear me okay if I don't use the microphone?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to hold that and this at the same time, so.
Did you want me to hold it for you?
No, you don't have to hold it for me.
I'm just kidding, first of all.
Can you guys smell the bread right now? Yeah. So here's what I do. When I show my slow cooker, usually I do it right after I've shown. I don't see it here. This right here. And I explain the thermal core. And I ask people, how many of us here have a slow cooker at home? Everybody raises their hand. Who here likes a slow cooker? It saves time, it saves us money from the restaurants, right? Now, if we had our slow cooker working right now in our home, what would it smell like when we hit the front door? Whatever you're cooking inside that thing. Now, normally if we're in a big building, people don't smell it cooking the way we do right now. As soon as I take that lid off, when you show that slow cooker, you walk out there with it like this. People are just blown away.
Is that parchment?
Yeah, I'll show you. And I'm going to show you how to do this in a second, guys. This is awesome. You cannot do this in a crock pot.
Bring that pan back here.
You can't do that in a crock pot.
Give me some olive oil sauce.
And this is one of the easiest things to do, folks.
Wow. Taste that still.
I'm going to take this thing out just a second so you can all see it.
They did it with 2 fish and a loaf of bread, and you got 60.
You don't have to use a parchment paper, folks. You can do it without the parchment paper. I like it because I like to do this. Because what I'll do is I'll do this right during my show. I'll pull that thing out. It's not done yet. That is not done. It takes 2 hours to cook. It's been about 1 hour and 25 minutes. But at this point, I'll usually flip it over. You see that? Just drop it right back inside. So I actually got the idea for doing this from Robin. I was doing an RV show at Sambury years ago, and she mentioned this, and I was really intrigued by it. So we messed around with it a few times until we got it right. You can go to the store, and these are not frozen right now because I don't have a freezer in my room, but you get these individual loaves, and all you do the night before the show, before you leave, the night before, you drop one in there. And that's what it looks like when it's risen.
Just one?
Yeah. Just one loaf of bread. Well, I'll do more than one during a day, but that's what it looks like. So you put it in there the night before, off. Just put it in the slow cooker. Don't plug it in. Don't turn it on.
So it's frozen out of here?
Frozen.
Frozen, and overnight it's going to defrost and rise.
It's going to defrost. It's called proofing it. It's going to rise up. So you can
That's just one.
just leave a lid on. One frozen loaf of bread. Now, they're about this long. They're about 4 or 5 inches long, and they're usually, you can pick them up in the frozen section. Usually there's frozen bread in the grocery store.
And they're already flavored like garlic?
No, I flavored this. I'll show you in just a second how I do that.
How many
But
are
that's
in there?
That one came with 5. It's got 3 left, but usually they come in packs of 3 or 5.
In what you bought?
I bought it at Kroger, but you can get it at any store at all.
But that's only one.
That's only one of the loaves.
Yeah.
It costs about $1 a loaf, folks.
What is that, wax paper?
No, it's parchment paper.
But
Parchment paper. Don't do it with wax paper.
Mike showed me how to do this back at the Delaware State Fair, and it was out of this world awesome, and it was all that me and Katie could talk about, and we went home and had to figure that out too.
So Rob,
We do it too.
Rob is taking it to a whole new level, though.
We don't use parchment paper.
They don't use parchment
You
paper.
just
yeah.
use spray on it. You've already got it in your booth, you're already doing your egg pan with it.
Is this on? Okay.
Coat the bottom, coat the lid. Make sure you coat the lid because it's going to rise, and if it rises up and touches that lid, it's going to stick to the lid, and you're going to ruin your bread.
Yeah,
So make sure you just coat everything with olive oil and then season it up that way. So you don't have to do the parchment paper.
It doesn't really take a whole lot of learning to do, but if it's a warm day, it's a warm night, it's going to rise and it's going to push that lid up. You come in the next morning, it'll be right, it'll be all the way up. So you got to be a little cautious of that. It's not the end of the world if that happens. It still cooks fine. So what I do is I put one in the night before, and all I do is I get the parchment paper out. It's like this right here. Right? Get a roll of parchment paper, cut a size that's going to fit inside there, and I just tuck these edges underneath. My wife, she does it a little different. She cuts it. She actually gets the scissors out and cuts around it, so that it all fits. It's a round piece of paper, and you drop it in there. And I usually use a little bit of olive oil, and I'll just coat it on both sides with olive oil. I'll sprinkle a little bit of garlic salt on there, some oregano and basil, and that's all I do.
Just spray olive oil, okay?
You can use a spray olive oil as well. I don't, but that works fine in a pinch.
I've used it a million times.
Temperature on the
I've used
slow
it a million
cooker?
times.
What you turn it up to?
Yeah. So when you come in the morning, you've had that thing proofing overnight, you had it all risen, you come in the morning, before I start my first show, right before I start my first show, before I start building my audience, I will put it on the base, plug that base in, and turn it to 4. Turn it all the way up, because you're baking in it, so you gotta have a high temperature. It takes exactly 2 hours to cook. So by the time I get to the point in my show where I'm opening up my slow cooker, it's been cooking for about 30 minutes, it's been baking for about 30 minutes. And I'll say to people, I have something cooking in here right now. And then I'll say, actually, I'm not cooking, I'm baking in my slow cooker. And that gets people's attention when you tell them that you're baking in the slow cooker. And then I'll just take that lid off and I'll show it, and I'll flip that thing over right in front of them. And I'll say, now we're gonna cook it on the other side. It's gonna take another, however long it's gonna be. Rob does something he told me about yesterday, which I cannot wait to try. He, instead of using garlic and those savory seasonings, he does sugar and cinnamon. And I haven't tried it yet, but he tells me it smells like a Cinnabon. And if anybody's ever walked into a place where it smells like the Cinnabon, it just makes you start getting hungry right away. So, I can't wait to try that. Another thing you can do, folks, if you really want to take it to another level, you can do focaccia bread. You can get some of those veggies that you've been cooking all day, set them aside, and put some of the zucchini in there, put some of those broccoli, cut it up nice and small, put it in there. Some red peppers, put them right on top, instead of flipping it over, put it on top and bake it on high. It'll sink right in, and it looks awesome, and it's really good. So it's just a tool. We talked about the tools yesterday. This is a tool that's easy to use.
After it's done, you just turn it down to 1 for the rest of the day?
Exactly. When it's done, I usually turn it down to 1, and a lot of times I'll put another loaf in. I'll let another loaf thaw and rise, and I'll put that one on too. So it's just something that you can do 2-3 loaves of bread a day. Super easy. I'll tell you when this comes in handy. The last thing I want to do is start cooking a chicken on a Friday home show that goes from 5 to 9.
Sure.
Okay, you don't have time to cook it. It's not enough time.
Right.
You put this on instead, it's going to make a big difference.
Wow.
It's inexpensive, which we all like. It's dramatic. It does the job. I think it really shows very well. And it's easy. It's pretty darn easy to do. So next time, grab yourself a couple of loaves of bread, just like this. They're kind of all frozen together right now.
Are you still doing the chicken too in a regular show?
Sometimes, well, yes, I'll do the chicken. I don't do what Mark does. I don't do 2 slow cookers at once. All right? I'm just not that advanced. Right? But I understand why he does that. It is pretty dramatic when you can do the 2 at once.
So, but does it hold all day if you turn it down to 1 and just leave the same
It,
open?
it does. It's a long day. I would do 2. You're going to be a second one. But when you serve that up, though, and when you serve it up at night,
For sure.
it's really dramatic.
It doesn't like warm, crisp bread.
And what Mark said earlier, when you get people, I mean, there's warm bread is a treat. And warm bread in the summertime, nobody in the world wants to turn their oven on in the middle of summertime because your house has to be 1,000 degrees and you got to turn the air conditioner on and your energy bills just start ticking up to the roof. So that's another selling point. You can have fresh bread any time of the year, and fresh bread to me is always a treat. Yes?
How long does it have to cook before you can pull it out and flip it over like that?
About 45 minutes until it's firm enough to flip over. Yeah, this one's been on for about an hour and 15 minutes. Yes, Robin?
You should do this at every single RV show that you were at.
Oh my God.
For all my trailer trash friends, how many of you want to turn on your oven to bake bread? No, you don't. But man, you got fresh baked bread on top of that slow cooker. Oh, it is the best thing in an RV. I love it. I love it.
And a lot of RVs don't even have ovens.
That's exactly
true.
right.
You know, because you can do the chocolate lava cake and do all the things to show how the slow cookers bake, but that is a feature that is singular to the wireless cookware, being able to cook without, bake in your slow cooker, nothing else. Just really, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to add something to this. Robin, can we make certain that we get that written out and sent to everybody in the company? So step by step how to do this.
That's
Number
too
one.
cool.
Number two,
Thank you, Mike.
Has anyone did this in a 2.3 by any chance?
Oh.
Now you've got your 2.3 skillet and you got that on a slow cooker base. And you say, oh, by the way, you have a dual purpose. I'd like to experiment with that as well. And then thirdly, I think I have enough. I'm not positive, but I'm going to stop my scratch and dent sale. And anybody here that wants a second slow cooker for your booth, $100. Okay? So let me know, because I think it's a great idea. I think it would really be good. And Mike, I apologize for coming to your booth and saying, what do you have nothing cooking in your slow cooker? What's that? I'd never seen it before. It's impressive. My apologies to you, sir.
Now you get it, all right?
Okay.
Hey guys, it's really simple. I just get a little bit of, a little basil here, sprinkle a little bit of that on there.
Rosemary's good too.
Yeah, rosemary's good. You want those things that are going to smell. So when I put it on at night, I literally take a piece of parchment, I put it in there, I put the frozen loaf right on top, I coat it with some olive oil, or even regular oil work fine, but I prefer the olive oil because it's a little bit healthier. And then I'll sprinkle whatever kind of seasoning I want. Make sure you get both sides, and just leave it alone. It takes about, don't forget, that's a problem. You can't forget the night before because you're actually prepping your slow cooker the night before you leave.
You put the lid back on that I want some. I don't want it to be good and done and ready.
Yeah, you're killing me.
Mike, let me share one other thing with you, because you and I went through this too. I know none of you have ever forgot anything going into your show.
Never.
If you forget to put it in the night before, and you go, boy, I really want bread the next day, the first thing you go in the morning is turn your slow cooker on, all the way up, put your parchment paper in there, your olive oil, whatever you're going to do, lay your bread inside, put the lid on, and take it off the heat. Just let it sit. The pan that's warm now is going to cause that bread to start rising.
Yeah.
It's going to take about 3.5 hours, but it will rise faster if you'll do it that way, if you should forget the night before to put it in.
Another step with that too, because I have forgotten sometimes, if you get one of your towels and get it nice and put some hot water on it, heat it up, and you put that towel over top of your slow cooker, and you put the lid over top of it, the humidity will actually help that thing thaw and rise a lot faster as well.
What's going to go wrong when we're first starting out to figure out how this works?
You'll burn it.
Just burn the bread?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you burn it, it's still pretty dramatic. I mean, I burned it before.
I burn it like 3 times,
And
it still comes out good.
It still comes out good, it really does. Here's the thing, it takes 2 hours, but it's not a precise science. If you cook that for an hour and 45 minutes, it's going to be fine. If you cook for 2.5 hours, it's still going to be fine. So it's not a precise science. Cheryl?
Rosemary actually increases your memory by 75%. So like people that smell it, they'll be remembering what you're saying, it helps you remember.
Really?
75%.
You'll have to remember to put it on the night before too.
Rosemary bread is delicious.
Yeah. I can't wait to try the cinnamon and sugar, because I love the way cinnamon smells. Yeah.
Maybe freeze this today and have that go in the morning.
I have another one. I can put that on.
It's a hot girl, but it's just, because we can't move them to do it today for our schedule, but that'd be great, let's do that.
Yeah, we can even, yeah. And then what's really nice is what I'll do is at the end of the day, I'll just take that bread out and I'll just slice it in a nice long pieces of bread. And people go crazy over it.
Drive your neighbors
if you talk,
insane.
how easy is that? When you get those vendors coming in your booth, you make bread in your booth. How did you do that? I've sold cookware that way, folks, a lot of times because people, they get it then. They understand exactly what it is. And when you show them how this thermal core works, you can describe it to them all you want. When they see it, they get it. They understand that this cookware is not just it is not Target cookware. They totally understand at that point.
Do you explain about the frozen bread at the grocery store and all that, or you just let them assume that you started from scratch?
You know what? I'm not dishonest with people. I tell them, if I have time, I'll make it myself. Bread is 3 ingredients. It's flour, yeast, and water. Sure. It's super easy to make yourself, but it's not easy to make in a booth. So that's why I like the frozen bread. I tell people at home I make it. Here I just get the frozen ones. And if they, people like that. And when you get someone who comes into your what Mark was talking about earlier, you get those people walking up. That is a tool too, because you always want to show them what's in your slow cooker, because it helps them understand what the cookware is about. When you get people who own the cookware already, people who've had this for 30, 40 years, and you show them something new that they can do with their cookware, that opens a whole new door, folks. It really does. And if they don't own a slow cooker, they don't own one of our gourmet cookers, they're going to be getting it that from me that day, for sure. So, any other questions? All right.
Thank you.